Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Chicago Sports Podcast, guys. I am your host. My name is Brandon Duplessis, and unfortunately for you, I'm your only host tonight, guys. So please join me, hang out with me for the next 15 minutes as we discuss the Chicago Bears head coaching search, which is technically underway starting, Sunday, because Thomas Brown, for the first time, will be the interim head coach on the sideline for the game against the 49ers, guys. We are just about 1 week removed from the firing heard around the world, right? Unfortunately for you guys, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about Matt Eberflus, guys. For the first time in over 100 years, the Bears organization did terminate their head coach in season. I know we're all sad about that, guys, but we're going to have to force ourselves to move on. Thomas Brown will take over as the head coach for the final 5 games of the season, guys, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. Primarily, who the Bears should hire as head coach, but I want to hear you guys down in the comments below. Please leave some chat with you guys. I want to hear about as far-fetched as you can make it, and then I want a more grounded and a more grounded in reality opinion, something that's a little more valid. And I want to start with, in regards to who your dream coach might be for the Chicago Bears. I would imagine it's somebody who's already got success, like an Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin. But I want to, like I said, I want to keep the train on the tracks here, guys. And for me, I really, when it comes to a dream head coach, and I want to, like I said, I want us to keep this in perspective. I'm talking about people that might actually be possibly considerable for an option. I think that the Bears should exercise every single option they have at head coach in this offseason. And I mean, you call everybody up. Call this Pittsburgh Steelers up. Call them about Mike Tomlin. Call the Rams about Sean McVay. Call the Niners about Kyle Shanahan. Make sure that you open every door and look underneath every stone, because this is the most important decision in the Chicago Bears franchise, in the history of the Chicago Bears franchise, if you ask me. We've got our quarterback. I firmly believe that. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, guys. This kid's going to continue to keep proving you that he is the guy. So let's dive into what's next for this Bears organization in developing our quarterback, getting a head coach. And that doesn't necessarily mean we need an offensive head coach, guys. Please, if that's in your head, just get rid of it now. Get rid of it now. Your standards on a head coach, after we watched Matt Eberflus fail to just be accountable and hold players accountable, that should be the number one quality that you're looking for in a head coach. Not young, not old, not rookie, not veteran, not defense, not offense, a leader of men. And I know we've heard the term so much, we're disgusted by it, but the reality is, guys, Lovie Smith was probably the last leader of men this organization had as a head coach. I mean, wrap your head around that. Guys, I want to clarify one thing. I know early reports kind of stated that Kevin Warren was going to lead this search. I never believed that for a minute. He's doing his job as a president. He's going to oversee it. This is Ryan Poles' job. This is his task he's been faced with, and it's going to the failure and success is going to be on Ryan Poles, guys. Let me tell you this. You believe for a minute that Kevin Warren's responsible for hiring this head coach, this next head coach. If he fails, do you think Kevin Warren's the guy who's getting fired? Absolutely not. And Ryan Poles is not going to sink with somebody else's ship. He is going to be the person that finds our next head coach. And Kevin Warren's obviously going to oversee the decision. Kevin Warren's obviously going to have to give him an approval, I would imagine. So who do you guys think Ryan Poles' dream head coach would be? Unfortunately for me, even in my dreams, the Bears lose. So I don't know if my dreams are any different than reality. But I want to start with where we're picking up from Matt Eberflus, guys. And I think the number one name should be Thomas Brown. That's got to be your lead candidate, because you are going to be able to give this guy a different kind of interview from everybody else in the offseason, right? You're going to give him a live audition, and you're going also to you're going to see the good thing about Ryan Poles is this, the facing this choice is you've seen multiple levels of failure. And you've seen it from both sides of the aisle, for lack of a better term, but in the display of failure you've seen in your head coach and Matty Eberflus and the display of failure you've seen in Shane Waldron were two very different things. Now, Matty Eberflus was obviously just a poor game manager and a poor decision maker when it mattered most. And Shane Waldron just couldn't seem to string together plays that made sense for his rookie quarterback. So I think you're going to be looking for two things primarily: a leader and a play caller. It doesn't necessarily mean, guys, that this individual is going to be calling plays for you, but I do believe that it's somebody that you're going to want to know has some experience in play calling and has also been successful. And I don't want the Bears organization to overthink this, guys. I don't want to get cute. I don't want any. I'm going to be honest. One name that I think the Bears have kind of already eliminated from their search is Bill Belichick. I believe Bill Belichick is a guy who's going to be hired for an organization in overload, and he's going to be heavily involved in personnel decisions. Why would Ryan Poles hire a guy who would just eventually probably take his role? So I don't think that Belichick is really going to be an option for this team. I do, however, like the idea of hiring a head coach that has formerly been a head coach. And I even mean Thomas Brown, guys. Even if it's just 5 games as an interim coach, he didn't hire this staff. It's not his playbook. He's taken over a pretty dysfunctional mess. So the odds are very stacked against Thomas Brown. So I'm going to say this, guys. My dream scenario for the head coaching job for the Chicago Bears is that the guy that's already in the building working with Caleb Williams today proves to all of us that he can be that individual. And he is going to continue to call plays while he's head coach for the Chicago Bears for the next 5 weeks. So if he can prove to us, guys, I mean, if this guy manages to continue to develop his quarterback while also overseeing an entire roster, I mean, that's already one step ahead of the guy that's been here for the last 3 years already, right? So I think Thomas Brown's where you start. I think that should be your first interview. Obviously, no matter how the next 5 weeks goes, guys, like I said, he's not getting the fairest shot in the world to be the head coach of this team. This is not ideal for anybody, guys. The traditional interview in the offseason, tell me who you're going to be bringing in, who's your defensive coordinator, who's your offensive coordinator. That's fair ground. That's where Thomas Brown would probably have the most success. So if he gets any success out of this roster in the next 5 weeks, it's a little more impressive than you think, to be honest. I do want to say this. He preached the word unity, Thomas Brown. I really like hearing that word, but I think it's going to be probably perceived in a lot of different ways. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, well, unity, is there something we don't know? Are the Bears roster divided? I'm looking at you, Travis Bajan. But no, I don't believe it is, guys. I think what he means is the division between the players and the coaches, because that is something that's become very apparent to us. There is definitely a gap between this coaching staff and the players. The players are kind of starting to get, I mean, they've been doing all year. They're kind of publicly voicing their frustrations. That's never a good sign, guys. But I did hear from Courtney Cronin today that they were all smiles at camp or at practice. So it seems like they like Thomas Brown. That doesn't mean anything, guys. We know that you could be a likable guy. It doesn't make you a leader, right? I do believe this, though. We're talking about dream scenarios, and Thomas Brown does become the head. He passes this test with flying colors on all cylinders. Thomas Brown becomes the head coach of the Chicago Bears. He's going to want to bring in, I would imagine, some people with experience for his coordinating positions. And a guy that I really like is Robert Saleh, guys. Obviously, a phenomenal defensive coordinator. And I think he had the same problem as Eberflus. I really did. I really do. I think he called plays well enough on defense for that Jets team to win some games last year, and that got him another year. But I think the Jets faced the sad realization, the same realization the Bears face, guys, that being a play caller doesn't make you a leader. Robert Saleh obviously had no control over this team. It had gone, if you ask, I mean, people were talking about the Jets being in the playoffs before the season started. I did not see success in their future, especially in a division with the Bills. But I do think that if you could possibly get Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator for a young head coach like Thomas Brown, he might be able to give him, you know, he's going to bring a world of experience when it comes to being a head coach. That is something that will benefit Thomas Brown for sure. And I also like the idea that Thomas Brown seems like he's more of a man than Robert Saleh is, right? I mean, Thomas Brown, to me, from what I've seen, watching the two of these guys speak, Thomas Brown is going to immediately be the superior over Robert Saleh, regardless of position. He's just a more, I don't know, he commands a room to me more so than Robert Saleh does, guys. So right now I have Thomas Brown as head coach, who's already worked with Caleb Williams for an entire season, but primarily as a head coach for 5 weeks. If this does work over the last 5 weeks, let's say we go 3-2 and one of those wins is in Green Bay, Thomas Brown deserves a head coaching interview. He's going to get one no matter what, even if he doesn't, display what the Bears are hoping to see. He's still going to get an interview. Obviously, he should. Like I said, you explore every option. No stone left unturned, guys. That's the most important part about this is don't bring in 100 candidates that you have no belief in. Bring people you like and take it seriously. Every interview you do. And to be honest, Ryan Poles, guys, to me, is a person who carries himself with swag. He commands respect. He's a leader. He's kind of got the room's attention when he's in it. If I was Ryan Poles, I'd be looking for a guy who's superior to me. Well, when he's in the same room having a conversation, that's what I would look for, is somebody who just demands my respect. But I want to say for offensive coordinator, guys, this is where the dream kind of plays in. I would love to see Kevin Stefanski be the offensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. Do I believe he's going to get head coaching interviews if he's terminated in Cleveland? And guys, I really like Stefanski, and I think he's not the problem there, but we know how dysfunctional the Browns organization is. They make the Bears look good, to be honest. I would love to see Stefanski working under Thomas Brown as an offensive coordinator. Now you have Thomas Brown, who's been in this building, who's worked with Caleb Williams as your head coach. You have Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator, who's been a head coach, and you have Kevin Stefanski as your offensive coordinator, who's been a head coach. I do believe Kevin Stefanski is a leader. That could maybe cause an issue between Thomas Brown and Stefanski. You've got two alphas in the same room. But to be honest with you guys, if I'm Thomas Brown, I'm surrounding myself with alphas. Like I said, don't overthink this. Get the best man for the job, man or woman. Sorry, get the most qualified individual you can at all of these positions. So my dream scenario, guys, is that Thomas Brown retains the job as head coach because he proves that he should, and then he brings in former head coaches with veteran experience, quality head coaches that can work under him and kind of help him along too, guys. Because even if Thomas Brown does good over the next 5 weeks, that doesn't mean when next season starts, it's just going to be the same for him. He has been with this organization, but it's a whole new process. If Thomas Brown comes in the next season as the head coach, he's going to have a new staff. He's going to have his own playbook. It's going to be different. It's not going to look the same as it has, which is probably for the best, to be honest. So I do believe that Ryan Poles is going to be ultimately the person who makes this decision, and I believe he's going to. Guys, there's no way that the front office, this organization, isn't hoping that Thomas Brown is the guy. I mean, you would if you're a GM in search of a head coach, wouldn't you feel a little better if he's already in your building? And we've all said it, guys. We don't want to see Thomas Brown go somewhere else and be the next Mike Tomlin. I only say the name Mike Tomlin because they carry themselves in a very similar manner, strictly business, no bullshit. So yeah, guys, that's my dream scenario. If you like Kevin Stefanski as offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown as head coach, or Robert Saleh as defensive coach, then please, guys, leave a like. Hit the like button below. And guys, please like and subscribe. Again, the Chicago Sportscast Network, guys, doing big things. We're going to be doing a lot of these kind of solo videos, guys. And I just want to give a shout out also to 4-Star Chicago Sports, guys. That is another podcast that Brandon and myself does with Dustin, Kyle, Sean. That's on Monday nights at 6:00. And then we actually have another Chicago Sports podcast show tonight, guys, at 8:30. So don't leave. You get a half an hour intermission. Get yourself a beer and jump right back into it, guys. So yeah, guys, that's about it for me. Like I said, please like and subscribe. If there's a name that you have in mind, please feel free to leave it in the chat, guys. And I want to give a shout out to Bridges Scoreboard, guys, your Northwest Indiana sports headquarters with the coldest beer. They've got really good food, guys, really good environment. I've gone out there a few times with Trax. I want to give a shout out to Trax, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. This is actually the first podcast I've done by myself. I'm sorry. So, guys, I also want to give a shout out to Serendipity Ice Cream, guys, right across the street from Bridges. After you go get yourself some beers and some wings, across the street and get some ice cream, guys. And do it Sunday when you're watching the Bears-Niners. So, guys, yeah, starts today. Week 1 starts on Sunday. Week 1, Thomas Brown, head coach. We're obviously all going to know probably by the end of the season if he's even remotely considerable as a head coach. And that's it for me, guys. As always, bear down. I think the Bears are going to beat the Niners. I do. I'm not necessarily saying that's the result of Thomas Brown being a coach, but I do think the Bears are a better team than the 49ers this year, which is, I can't believe I'm even saying that. So, yeah, guys, I like the trade options. Maybe Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. Reach out to people that might be disappointed in their head coach. Other than that, definitely interview the guy you got in the building already. Chicago Sports Podcast, guys. Trags, give a shout out to Trags, guys. Thanks for your love and support. We appreciate you. We love you as well. We need you guys to do this. We couldn't do this without you, and there's no point, right? Even if we did need you, if I'm sitting here talking to nobody, it doesn't matter, right? So we appreciate you guys sticking around, hanging out with us. Like I said, we got another show in about a half an hour, and that is it from me, guys. Y'all have a good night. Bear down. Oh, and be safe. That wind disrespected the shit out of me earlier, guys. So be safe, happy, healthy. Everybody have a good night, all right?